It's fascinating to wonder what the industry would look like now if Microsoft hadn't got a bit bored and decided to enter the console space way back in 2001 with the original Xbox. There'd probably be no Halo, so the landscape of an entire genre would be very different indeed. Without Gears of War, we wouldn't have had countless sad, unforgettable trailers, and our testosterone levels would probably be on the floor. And without the Xbox brand as a whole, there's no telling just how complacent Sony or Nintendo might have become, with Sega falling out of the console wars. Blech. Competition is good, even if the consequence of that is weird blue ticks on Twitter calling you a soy boy beta cuck because you didn't like Starfield that much. But the Xbox brand of consoles has had somewhat of a rollercoaster-like lifespan over the past 2 decades, with 4 generations of consoles and quite a few iterations and differing versions across those 4 generations. Microsoft's green brand has experienced being on the winning and losing end of this so-called console war, which I think we should all just start calling a platform party and all get along instead and have a nice time. At the moment, Xbox is definitely on the uptick, but sometimes it's nice to go back through the brand's history and determine which console was the very best. With that in mind, we've decided to go back and rank all the major versions of the Xbox console over the past 20 years. Crucially, we're not going through every limited edition version of the console, otherwise the Halo 4 version of the Xbox 360 would sweep this entire list. We are going to include revisions though, as the Xbox brand hasn't actually had a lot of consoles, and this would be a fairly short list otherwise. They haven't released any handhelds either, as we were absolutely robbed of a Zune Boy back in the day. What could have been? Either way, here's the definitive ranking, according to us, of every major model of Xbox console ever made. Before that though, we have another random Steam key to give away to one lucky viewer. To take part, all you have to do is comment 27k gang down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe, and we will draw a winner next Friday. And with that said,
come on, Master Chief, let's get the fuck out of here.
Number 9, the original Xbox One. Here's an absolute tour de force in how to not pitch your console to a video game audience at a video game event. Focus on television. That's like going to a furry convention while dressed as Elmer Fudd. The console that was so bad it managed to lead to a CEO being ousted from Xbox, the Xbox One was a 3rd generation fumble for Microsoft, an experience that Sony knew all too well with the PS3. On paper, the Xbox One was marketed as an all-purpose media unit of sorts, allowing players to experience the best of gaming, movies, TV and music on one device, but the results left a lot to be desired. Ahead of launch, the Xbox One couldn't shake the reputation of being a media player first and foremost, with the only launch games that were available for the Xbox One being nobody's favourite Dead Rising game, the admittedly beautiful but shallow Rise Son of Rome, and a selection of sports titles.
Go team, go sports!
In the end, the Xbox One was massively outclassed by the PS4 in terms of library and overall user experience, and it has taken Microsoft a decade of acquisitions and subscription services to recover the ground that was lost. We also lost the Kinect at some point during the Xbox One's life, which, you know, that's a worthy sacrifice. Number 8, Xbox 360E. Sadly, this is not the Shrek Markiplier meme. The Xbox 360 version you probably forgot about, the Xbox 360E, was announced during the same showcase that the Xbox One was revealed at. Yeah, there's a reason you forgot about this one. Similar in specs and scope to an already released iteration of the Xbox 360, which we'll talk about later on in this list, the only real change made to the Xbox 360E was external, as it was designed to look more like the Xbox One. Reed, bulky, black, and not that nice to look at, considering that the Xbox 360E launched right at the end of the Xbox 360's life cycle, with Microsoft moving on to the Xbox One practically immediately afterwards. The Xbox 360E's impact on the legacy of Xbox is minimal at best, which is why it's so low down on this list. It's a great console, especially if you happen to be a PS3 owner who wanted to see what Xbox had to offer late in the 7th generation, but it didn't leave a mark like other Xbox consoles did. But hey, at least it was a console for those who didn't want to be always online, eh Dom? Eh Dom? What were you thinking, Dom? I haven't been this disappointed in a Dom since Dominic Mysterio told his mother to shut up. Number 7, Xbox One S. Anything would have been an improvement over the Shockmaster-esque debut that the Xbox One had, so the Xbox One S was a welcome upgrade to the base Xbox One model. It didn't have the Kinect bundled with it, which is always fine by us. offered with 3 different storage capacities, meaning players of all price ranges could get involved, and adorned with a white casing that didn't look like a bulky VHS player from the 1970s, the Xbox One S was a vast improvement over the original. Introduced in 2016, the Xbox One S replaced the original 2013 launch model of Xbox One, giving the ailing console a sleek visual overhaul, and perhaps most crucially, HDR and 4K support. All told, it was a decent upgrade to the first version of the Xbox One, while still being cheaper than the original Xbox One was at launch too. As upgrades or mid-generation console refreshes go, the Xbox One S was pretty decent, giving a bit of life to a console that many had already assumed dead after that disastrous reveal. Number 6. The Xbox One X. The definitive version of the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, improved again on the Xbox One S by offering almost a full upgrade to most of the core processors, making it a more powerful console overall. On stats alone, the Xbox One X might have even been more powerful than PS4 Pro, making it, for a time, the best place to play console games. Or third-party console games at least. PlayStation still had Spider-Man and God of War obviously, while Xbox famously struggled to put out Halo and Gears of War games that got anywhere near their predecessors. Either way, the Xbox One X was leaps and bounds ahead of where the Xbox One was back in 2013. Coupling the improvements made on the consoles with Xbox's growing market share and popularity, thanks to services like Xbox Game Pass, and the Xbox One X was a statement of change within the gaming industry. It still wasn't the best console Microsoft have ever made, as, well, it was still an Xbox One after all, but it definitely left an impression while also helping the image of the Xbox brand. If the Xbox One had released more like this, the story of the console as a whole may have been very different indeed. Disappointed they didn't persist with calling it the Scorpio, mind you. I was excited to eventually play the Xbox Burns and Chalmers. Number 5. Xbox Series S. Microsoft made a bold decision when they decided to split their current generation across 2 consoles, with the intent of providing a next-gen experience at 2 different price points. In theory, the Xbox Series S is a fantastic console, allowing those who don't have 4K TVs or are just interested in playing Game Pass games the chance to get their foot in the next-gen door, so to speak. At the end of the day, the more accessible the medium is, the better, but the lack of a disc drive for the Xbox Series S does kind of go against that a little bit. In execution, the Xbox Series S mostly achieves this goal, marketing itself as an affordable alternative to the PS5 and Xbox Series X, while still offering a fantastic gaming experience. That being said, there's the sense that now, 3 years into the Xbox Series X and S lifecycle, that the Series S might be holding the Series X back a little bit, maybe? With games like Baldur's Gate 3 previously being delayed due to the fact that the Series S version wouldn't have parity with the Series X version, the bloom seems to be off the rose with the Series S. It will be very interesting to see how that pans out over the next couple of years. I am personally already trembling with fear over what Grand Theft Auto 6 will do to my Series S. It may actually take flight before exploding in the atmosphere. Number 4. The original Xbox 360. Arguably Xbox's most iconic console, the Xbox 360 was a massive achievement for Microsoft, offering a massive library of third-party hits and excellent first-party exclusives like Halo, Gears of War, Forza Horizon, and more. Sure, not everything about the 360 was a rousing success, such as the gimmicky Kinect, even if it did sell like gangbusters, but on the whole the Xbox 360 was a widely beloved console adopted the world over. The Xbox 360 beating the PS3 to market, as well as being a whole damn sight cheaper, helped Microsoft to an early lead over Sony, but the 360 itself was just a much more focused vision overall, taking the cool things about the OG and basically making it all more intuitive. That OG dashboard is still probably the best one on any console. Unfortunately for Microsoft though, the original version of the Xbox 360 was subject to plenty of controversy when it launched, thanks to the prevalent issues regarding the so-called Red Ring of Death. The console's heating issues would cause the inner tech of the console to bend and warp, ultimately leading to the red light on the console and the dreaded error message on the television. This happened to me personally when I was playing a Klaxon CD on a 360 that I'd borrowed from my friend for a single evening. Do you have a Red Ring of Death story? Be sure to let us know down below. Fortunately though, Microsoft rectified the issue later on, but the red ring nearly tanked the 360 before it began, and that's why it just misses out on the top 3 to number 3, the original Xbox. The OG, the big dog, the direct Xbox, the midway? Okay, yeah, Xbox was the right name all along. Maybe Softbox could have been an option though? What's that? Sounds like what? Oh, yeah, oh, never mind. Never mind that one. You know, Microsoft wanted to treat the Xbox like it was a big deal when it was unveiled by Bill Gates and The Rock, with the latter rumoured to be intimidated by the size of the console, leading to 20 years of shilling energy drinks, and it certainly made enough of an impact for Xbox to still be around 20 years on. Microsoft's first foray into the console gaming market, the original Xbox managed to be a record-breaking console, selling 1.5 million units in the US alone before the end of 2001. Considering the Xbox only launched in November 2001, that's a pretty impressive feat. Internal memory and the ability to rip your own music CDs onto it to use as soundtracks was also absolutely huge for the time. One of my favourite ever gaming memories will always be listening to my ripped version of System of a Down's Toxicity and Destroying Fools in Burnout 3. The only real issue that held the original Xbox back was the massive Duke controller, which was seemingly only built for anyone with the hands the size of Andre the Giant, but they did listen to feedback and release a smaller version down the line. They even released a version of the Duke on Xbox One for the people who hate not having arthritis, I guess? While the original Xbox didn't match up to the absolute juggernaut that was the PlayStation 2, it still managed to outsell the Nintendo GameCube and Sega Dreamcast, rest in peace, and boasted some impressive exclusives like Ninja Gaiden Black, the Halo series, Fable, Jade Empire, and Blinx, the Time Sweeper. Yes, we said Blinx, we did not stutter. Number 2, Xbox Series X. You might think it's recency bias that the Xbox Series X is this high up on the list, but the fact of the matter is that Microsoft's Big Black Console is the most feature-complete console to date, with a library of games spanning 4 generations at this point. Xbox Game Pass has also grown massively in size and scope since the release of the Xbox Series X, making it a brilliant place for players to make their console gaming home. Currently going head to head with the PS5 over which is the most powerful console, spoiler alert, it's actually the Soldier Boy console. The Xbox Series X is a huge step above the previous generation of Xbox consoles. The only minor downside being the removal of a few ports compared to the Xbox One and the need for proprietary storage solutions because AAA games are too damned big these days, and the Vita apparently also died for nothing. Speaking of, while the Series X has barely started to cook yet, the sheer amount of first-party exclusives on the horizon means that the Xbox brand's console exclusives library has probably never been better, even if they have a terrible habit of revealing things about 5 years too soon. 10 if we're talking about Elder Scrolls 6. God damn it, Todd Howard. On the whole, the Xbox Series X is a fantastic console, but if it wasn't for the massive improvements that Microsoft made to the Xbox 360, it'd be their best ever effort. Oh, spoiler alert. Number 1, Xbox 360 Slim. Many people still consider the Xbox 360 to be Microsoft's console gaming highlight, and while that may be nostalgia talking, it's hard to argue with the level of success and brand recognition they received in the latter half of the 360's life cycle. A lot of that success could be attributed to the games that were on offer, but the real star of the show was the Xbox 360 Slim, which massively overhauled the console's core systems to create the best version possible. Gone were the days of the Xbox 360's prevalent overheating issues, as the Slim version offered a radically different cooling system that helped to mostly make Red Rings of Death a thing of the past. Combine that with the fact that the Xbox 360 Slim was smaller, quieter, and offered more storage space, and you can see how much better this version of the console really is. It's also worth reiterating just how good the Xbox 360 lineup was. Not only did we get the Halos and Gears of Wars games, but we also saw franchises like Fable, Forza and Crackdown mature on the 360, and that's without mentioning the rise of Minecraft. With those kinds of selling points and an absolutely killer price point of $299/199 quid, yes, currency conversion did used to exist in the UK if you can believe it, it's no wonder the Xbox 360 Slim is the best console Microsoft have ever made. And there you have it, that was our ranking for every Xbox console from worst to best. What was too high, what was too low, be sure to let us know down in the comments down below. I'm Jimmy for Cultured Vultures, be sure to take part in our competition, and thank you for watching.